Hey folks, welcome to my garage. You're watching Cigar Garage with Doc. And today I have a little discussion to go along with my cigar. And today I'm smoking an Alvo Uvasian Classic. It's a Presidente length. Width, it's 50 and more like just a little longer than Churchill though. It has a Connecticut sun-grown wrapper. And as far as the filler and binder, it's all Dominican. It's definitely, I would say, mild to medium, but it has a beautiful taste. Even on the start, it has a very creamy start, very creamy finish on the palate, almost like a nutty flavor, a peanut butter type of flavor, I would say. Really, it's creamy and definitely nutty when it comes to the palate. But I definitely suggest that you try this. This is a wonderful cigar. Alvo Uvasian's been around for a long time. He makes some of the best cigars. And actually, to be honest with you, the first cigar I ever had was just like this in size Churchill. And it was Alvo Classic. And I remember I called it a creamsicle because that's what it's like. It's like a creamsicle. It's creamy. It's a beautiful cigar. So try it. Give it a shot. Let me know how you do. We'll put it down in the, when you put it down in the notes there, and we'll talk about it. But do me a favor before we start what I want to talk about today. Give me a thumbs up. Give me a subscription, subscribe, just so that we can keep on the air and we keep these cigar shows on the air. And do that with all the cigar shows that you're on. Do the guys a favor and do me a favor. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, guys. I really do. Anyway, I'm going to tell you a story today. As some of you know, I was an assistant to Ed and Lorraine Warren, and they are probably the world's most famous ghost hunters until television came out, but they were ghost hunters before TV. And I was their assistant. I was one of their assistants. And Ed and Lorraine was also known for the Amityville case and Annabelle, and a lot of the movies that you see actually were their cases. I know there's people who believe that they faked a lot of things, but I'm going to tell you the truth. When I was with them, the investigations I did, there were no fakes. I never made a nickel, never made a dime on a movie, a book, or anything else, and I'm telling you, there were no fakes. I'm going to give you a little story. One night, I used to go there once a week for the School of Demonology. I'm a ordained minister, a lay exorcist, demonologist. There's a book, Forgiven, Not Forsaken, on Amazon if you want to read about one of my cases here in South Carolina. But to make a long story short, let's get back to this night. I was driving up there, and I drove from New Jersey all the way to Connecticut, and I did it every week, 4 times a month. This day, I was driving up there, and I got there a little bit early, and I looked, and it was dark, and I thought, well, I don't know, maybe they're down at the museum. Well, Ed and Lorraine had a house, and they had this little walkway indoors, enclosed, that went down to like a shed that was turned into another room, a big room, and today it's become the museum, Ed and Lorraine's museum. If you've ever been there, he have artifacts from hundreds of cases, and some that were given to him by other people who ghost hunt and have had some horrific cases. Anyway, this night I thought they may have been back there, so I decided to go down the side of the house, the driveway, down into the yard. The yard sort of sloped down to the building. Well, the building looked a little dark, but I walked all the way up to the building. Once I got to the building, all of a sudden, it got ice cold. Now, mind you, this was summer. Up there at this time, it was a humid, had to be still in the 90s at that moment. But I'm telling you, by the front window of that house, it was about 30 degrees. I mean, it was so cold my hair stood up. Anyway, so I tried to turn around, and I figured I'm going back up. There's nobody there, and I'm not staying here with this museum with all those artifacts. Well, I go to try to walk, and I'm trying to get up the yard, and literally, I'm telling you, not only am I freezing now, but it's like I'm walking through jello or water. But it was like thick water. It was more like jello. And I couldn't get up, and I fought it, and I started to pray as I was walking, and I got easier and easier going up the yard. But literally pushing me back, you wouldn't feel that. I could hardly breathe, pushing me on my chest. So I got up to finally the driveway, and by then it released. I got to my car, and just after that, Ed Lorraine came home. And they were a little late that night starting a class. So I went to the class, but I went through the house with Ed Lorraine down into the museum and sat there, and I'm sitting in the back row. I used to always sit in the middle and the back. I like the seats, I like the lighting, I like where I was because I could see the whole museum, anything going on, because things would go on during the class. Well, this night was not a special night. Things happened like it always did. I'm sitting there, and sure enough, I look up. I'm sitting right under Annabelle. I'm sitting right under there. My hair's standing up. I'm wondering why. I get these cold breezes in the back of my head. I'm wondering why. It's hot in there. He just turned the air conditioner on, so it still had to be in the 80s in there. But for me, where I was sitting, it felt, all right, maybe not like 30s yet, but it felt like a cold wind and air conditioner in the back of my head. I look up, and there's Annabelle. So obviously, I wasn't having a good night. So about a half hour into it, we hear knock, 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 knock on the front door. I said, well, some of the people said, well, somebody's in the museum, want to come in, they must be late. A few of the people I could see out there was front windows there. See out the front window, said there's nobody there. And Ed never even, he didn't bat an eyelash. He didn't even check the door. He said, no, I guess there's nobody there. There's probably nobody there. He said, it's just them knocking. And then sure enough, about 2 minutes later, as soon as we stopped talking about that, right across the ceiling, footsteps, and I mean footsteps. And they were like combat boot footsteps going across the ceiling. They were loud. I only heard that once in a case that I talked about in South Carolina, that loud. I heard footsteps. But you would have to say, what was that, But in this case, boom, 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 boom. Right across, like someone jumped on a roof and walked across. There was no one there. No one on that roof. There was nobody. So I figured, well, this is some night. So by the time the class ended, I got in my car, started to drive home. Now I'm driving home, and I have to go on a highway through Connecticut, New York, into New Jersey. When I'm sitting there in the car, I keep looking through my rearview mirror in my back seat. Something's telling me something's in my back seat. I don't see anything. I don't see a thing. But something's telling me. Now I'm getting in the car. Now, of course, I have the air conditioner in the car. But all of a sudden, I'm getting this. It's freezing. It's absolutely freezing. My air conditioner was never that good. And I'm absolutely freezing. And I'm getting this feeling of fear is starting to come over me, this terrible feeling. So I pulled off the road, the first rest stop I saw, come out of the car, opened the windows, turned around, threw holy water in the back seat, cast this thing out, closed the windows, got back on the road, and sure enough, the car was calm, a perfect ride all the way home. But it goes to show you that spirits are real, and when you play with them, when you study about them, you do open yourself up, even if it's not on purpose. So be very, very, very careful when ghost hunting or trying to find out if the spirits in your house or looking for EVPs, which is the voice phenomena and stuff like that, because you can really open yourself up and never even know it. I just made a few mistakes that night, or I just sat there in the wrong place, and these things occurred. Of course, in the museum, it was a little bit different, but not in my car, not in the backyard. These things do happen when you're dealing with these issues, and you're dealing with demons mostly, and not dealing with ghosts. So, and we'll talk more about that at a later date. But anyway, that's one of my stories, and I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next time. Remember, give me a thumbs up, hit the button for the bell, and just put me down on your list, would you? It'd be a big help. Thank you, and God bless. See you guys soon.